Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of my Zelda podcast, the Kokiri Chronicles, and this is episode 30, which, by the way, I want to say thank y'all so much for 30 episodes. We have come such a long way talking about theories and lore and a bunch of other references and Easter eggs when it comes to all things Zelda on every third day in the month, so thank you guys so much for always tuning in. Your support really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much for everything and for all you do. So last time I got to sit down here with my good friend Sora850 as he and I sat down to discuss the upcoming Ocarina of Time remake that's going to be coming out this year in late 2026. I mean, my guess is it's probably going to be November, because that's when Ocarina of Time came out, in November for both Japan and North America. So that's my guess. But anyway, before we get down to business on what we're going to be talking about, I have some very awesome guests with me today. First off, on the bottom, I want to say definitely he's at the bottom, we have Sora850. Hello, Sora.
Hello.
Hello. And last but not least, not only is he a really big Zelda fan, he's also a Kingdom Hearts fan, and he's such a very talented musician, and first time appearance on the podcast. Y'all give it up for Brandonglovich.
Hello.
Yo, how's it
Happy
going,
to be
Brandon?
here.
Yes, Brandon. Welcome. Brandon finally makes an appearance on the podcast.
Honored to be here. I was very happy that you asked. Love the podcast. It's very fun.
Yes. So, but how are you doing, Brandon?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling. Life's going good.
I know.
I got a lot of fun things going on.
Right. How are we feeling about? So I know Sora and I already talked about this in the last episode, but how are we feeling in terms of you about the Ocarina of Time remake?
For the Ocarina of Time remake, I'm really excited. I think I kind of sit in the minority of people in our generation where I've felt for a long time that Ocarina of Time needed a remake.
Yeah.
Having not played it for the first time until about maybe like 3-4 years ago, having no nostalgia value for it, I feel like I have the perspective of the younger generation of gamers who just would not have touched it with the 10-foot pole. It's like it's a great game.
It is a great game.
Yes, by today's standards, it doesn't quite. It takes a lot to get a new player today in like 2026 to want to play something that's like such low res, like polygon model type game. Kind of controls didn't age perfectly well. So I think for one of the most iconic games of all time, like, you have to remake that to introduce it to the new generation so that they can experience the same thing you guys got to go through.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And think about what happened 5 years ago when Skyward Sword HD got announced. And of course, not everybody grew up having a Wii, and this honestly, I found bringing Skyward Sword HD to the Switch was an amazing idea, just to give players an opportunity to like try it out, because like when you look at a game like Skyward Sword, it's like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, but I never got a chance to play it because I never owned a Wii going up. And now that it's on HD, and now you can play it on the go, and now it's got button controls. I'm like, there you go.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more with that.
Yes, and also, and so for today's topic, gentlemen, since I did bring up Skyward Sword, we are going to be So, I've done a couple episodes in the past where I talked about a couple of incarnations of Link. The one I did a couple years ago on the Hero of Time, which Sora, you were on that episode, and it was you, me, Bahamut, and Landy, good homie Landy at the Landy Lodge. We talked about the tragedy of the Hero of Time, and then I want to say it was last year I did an episode on Link from Wind Waker. So we're doing yet another episode on another incarnation of Link, but we're starting all the way from the top, from the timeline. We're going to be talking about Link from Skyward Sword. So this is his story that we're going to be talking about. But first, Brandon, I'm going to let you go first on this one, but I definitely would like to hear from you. What was your experience like with Skyward Sword, and what are your thoughts on this Link's design and character?
Ooh, okay. So first, the game as a whole with Skyward Sword.
Yeah. Like, what was your first
Okay.
experience like with it?
The first experience. This was about, huge Zelda fan, but like also grand scheme of things, relatively new. Like I think I started playing these in like 2020, 19 or 20, something like that. So Skyward Sword, I think I probably played like 4 or 5 years ago. So like not too long, but kind of newish. I think in terms of story, I think Skyward Sword is my favorite. Like
Oh,
it just adds tremendous implications to the series. It sets the foundation for pretty much everything, the entire franchise. I don't think that there's a single other game in the Zelda timeline that comes close to matching the story and lore that it gives us. And I just think that's really, really cool. Not a game that I'm terribly keen on replaying too often because the controls don't the controls are a little interesting.
yeah.
But the story, like, I'll never get tired of like going back and looking at the Skyward Sword story. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I totally get that. Like, not everybody is very fond of the motion controls. I mean, personally, it doesn't bother me. But
Yeah.
honestly, Skyward Sword as a whole, it just has one of the best stories in the entire series. It's just so good. And then what are your thoughts on Link and his design?
It's a good one. It's probably in my top five. I'll say that. It's really fun. It feels very classic. It's exactly what you think of when you imagine Link, but it's not too plain like some of the older games. So it's fun to look at while still remaining graceful to the sleek, smooth design. I think they did really well with it.
Okay. Awesome. Love it. And okay, and Sora, what was your first experience like with Skyward Sword and your take on Link's design and character?
Well, for me, I was one of the people who played it on the Wii originally, and I kind of went into it a bit skeptical at first because I've heard nothing but complaints about the motion controls and everything and blah blah blah. I I don't know what it was, but I didn't have those problems that people kept complaining about. I thought the motion controls were actually really fun, and well, at first I had problems controlling like the loft wing, but that was about the extent of it. Once I got the hang of it, it was fine, but the combat was super fun. Like, probably some of the most fun combat in the entire series. Far as Link's design goes, probably my second favorite design in the series.
Oh, number two. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
I like
probably my second favorite design. Like, he looks really, really awesome in Skyward Sword. Like, especially once he actually gets the tunic. Like, you can tell he means business, because he's ready to go get back his lady.
Yeah, it's really fitting for him. Like, honestly, it's a really cool design, but honestly, this Link just really does stand out.
Oh, yeah.
He really does. Now, go ahead, Sora. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, it makes him stand out in a different way, because, like, with the green tunic, it's always symbolized, this is the chosen hero, but in Skyward Sword, it more signifies, this is the knight that is ready to go save his lady. He's not just a chosen hero, he's a freaking knight ready to go kick somebody's tail.
No, I totally get that. I get that. That's a good thing. So my experience with Skyward Sword, obviously I was like Sora. I started off on the Wii. In fact, I actually have it on my shelf back there. I don't think anyone can see it, but it is back there. It is back there. I have the collector's edition that came with the motion control golden Zelda Wiimote. And inside the game, so I don't know if you have it too. I'm sure you do. But it also came with not only did it came with the game, but it also came with the 25th anniversary soundtrack, which honestly,
Unfortunately, I don't have that because whenever I played the game on the Wii, I was borrowing the game. So,
No, that's
I
true.
mean, I own my own copy now, but at the time, I didn't own it. So
Yeah. And I personally own the 20th anniversary soundtrack that comes with it. But my first experience with Skyward Sword, I will say I think it really does stand out compared to other Zelda games. Yeah, I will say at first I was a little bit skeptical on the motion controls of all the wagging you have to do with the Wiimote and everything. And honestly, I kind of remember specifically back in the day. It was like for E3. It was when Miyamoto. I want to say it was Miyamoto. They were testing out Skyward Sword, and I think he was trying to do like bomb rolling, because you guys know that you get to roll bombs in this game, and even he himself was like having difficulties having difficulties trying to play the game. I was like, oh no, no. Not even Miyamoto's having trouble with the game. But this is at E3.
That's what you want to see at E3.
Yeah, that was E3. E3. But yeah, during my first experience, I would spend countless hours playing Skyward Sword. I love the story. I mean, I totally get it. There's some people who definitely have issues on having to go back to like the 3 different places on the surface. Like you're going back to Farron, Eldin, and Lanayru. But I feel like that, like for me personally, I always felt like when you revisit those 3 areas, there's always something new. Like for example, one minute, like when you first visit the desert, you're at a mining facility. The next visit, you're literally piloting a ship with one of the ancient robots exploring a sand sea, trying to find an invisible sand ship. And I felt like there was just always something new out there to do for like those specific areas. And
yeah.
I really liked it. I will say though, we don't talk about the Imprison, that giant piece of fucking avocado. We don't talk about that thing.
don't turn into guacamole.
Oh yeah. We turn to guacamole here. I will say the final battle against Demise definitely was really good, and the ending was just perfect. Honestly, absolutely perfect. And I really love Skyward Sword. I would definitely say it's definitely in my top 5 for sure for Zelda titles. It's just like the story is so good. Like Link as a whole, like the way how he stands out to the other Links, like the Hero of Time, Hero Winds, Hero of Twilight. He's very expressive when you guys think about it. That's
the biggest thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna say this Link is very expressive. Like, I mean, yeah, I would give more of the points to Link from Wind Waker, because he's also to me, I would say he's number 1 when it comes to being expressive. But this guy alone, like, this dude feels a lot. This dude is something else on another level when it comes to being expressive.
If I can dig into that, it's like,
yes.
I think what's really cool about that, besides just the fact that he's so expressive, since Skyward Sword, is the start of the timeline, right? It's where everything begins. Being that Link conceptually is meant to be a stand-in for the player, like he is the quote link between us and Hyrule. I think it makes so much sense that this is the game that we get the most expression out of him, because in terms of the timeline, this is our first encounter with Hyrule as well. So he's again just serving his exact purpose and really showing like us in game, like we're getting to see everything with the expression. And since this is kind of the origin, the hero spirit by the end of the game, getting to see it's like I think in the later games, I doubt this is intentional, but in the later games, we get a more stoic Link in a lot of these titles, because they don't have I think by that point, I think there's something cool in knowing that the hero spirit has kind of built this trauma from incarnation after incarnation, going through all these different calamities and events and villains and whatever. Since this is the beginning, he doesn't have that either. So I think it's really cool that it just makes sense to me that this would be the most expressive Link from like conceptual and story standpoint.
Yeah, I personally agree with that, because honestly, this dude, like, throughout Skyward Sword, like, this guy, this Link, he goes through a lot, man. Like, one minute he's waking out of bed because your best friend is saying, hey, you got a wing festival to go to, I want to get you out of bed early, so you can see me play that. Which, by the way, later on we are going to talk about Link and Zelda together. We got to talk about them. For sure, but we'll get to that soon. One moment he's celebrating the wing ceremony, and then all of a sudden he's going through a lot of depression because his best friend gets caught up in a black tornado. Because you can thank Kirihim for that, which of course another character we are going to talk about him as well. We're going to bring him up later on, and then and pretty much all this guy is doing is that he just wants to save his friend. He goes. Because when you think about in most of the games, like every hero always has a purpose. Like take the hero of time in Ocarina of Time. He's known as the kid as he's the boy of a fairy, and then later on he was forced to grow up so fast, and then when you see him in a body of an adult, he's in a grown up body, but in his mind he's still a child, and then when he goes back into 7 years into the past, going into Majora's Mask, he's still a little kid, but in his mind he acts like a grown up. And then Wind Waker, obviously having no blood relation to the hero of time, all this kid wanted to do was to celebrate his birthday, and then just gets ruined by a giant bird. Gets ruined by a damn bird. And then when you have Link from Twilight Princess, it's like, yeah, things are going good. He's gonna deliver his sword to Hyrule Castle, and then he gets attacked by King Baldwin and his freaking minions, and then he gets turned into a wolf, and then he meets the best companions on the series. But this guy, man, Link from Skyward Sword, this dude has been through a lot, dude, especially during his time with Fi, all the way to the end where he finds his best friend, and this dude also goes through depression, anger, sadness, and he goes through a lot of happiness around the end of the game. But this dude goes through a lot of shit, man. I don't know.
Too much.
Yeah. What is your take on that, Sora?
The amount of stuff he goes through, I want to say it's on kind of an equivalent level to other Links, but with Skyward Sword Link, it's a lot more personal, because this time it's involving his childhood friend Zelda, which, let's be real, they're smitten with each other. They just won't admit it.
They are.
They need to admit it. I'm still mad. I'm going on a side tangent here. I'm still mad that they baited us into thinking Zelda was going to kiss him, and then she shoves him off the freaking statue.
Yeah,
I'm still mad about that.
I know that they kind of baited us on that one.
But yeah, anyway. It's a lot more personal this time, because someone he personally loves is literally at stake here. She was, they were flying, big tornado just throws her down to the surface. Link has no idea what happens to her. Then he comes to find out she was basically captured by a freaking demon, then she's rescued by Impa and whatnot, sent through the Gate of Time. This entire journey he spends just trying to find this one person that he really loves and he grew up with.
Yeah.
And going to the expression thing, when he's angry, you straight up see the anger in his face.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The literal anger. When you see the sadness in his face, especially during the part when she is put to sleep, you see the freaking tears in his eyes.
Yeah, especially that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when she gets trapped inside that amber, you literally see him just he's just rubbing his eyes. I'm like, damn, I felt that, man.
Yeah. Like, oh my lord, that moment, that's one of the few moments in the Zelda series that actually made me tear up.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene, Brandon, where Zelda gets put to sleep in that crystal, and then Link's just like, he's just banging on it, and then he's trying to get her out, and then he just starts crying.
Yeah, yeah, dude, I sure do. It's they capture it goes back to the conversation of his expression, and they capture all of his emotions so beautifully well with how upset he gets when she's put in the amber. I particularly like how angry he gets with Girahim. There's a few shots in the game where it's just they get the anger on his face so well,
Yeah,
dude.
and I want to say, and one of the anger moments that you brought up, and I'm sure this will definitely will put a scene in y'all's head for this one. But it was the moment after it was a moment after Zelda finally wakes up, and everyone is happy to see Zelda wake. You see like Groose being happy, and you see Groose hugging the old lady and just being so happy. And then all of a sudden shit gets real, and then Girahim comes out, and then the fact of where he takes her, he takes Zelda, and then Link gets so pissed, like he starts screaming, and he pulls his sword, he pulls the Master Sword out, and you can see how annoyed Girahim is, and he's like, boy, I put up with you so much, but today we're not doing this. like you can tell, like even Girahim is literally tired of his shit.
No,
That's the start of the Legend of Groose.
Yes, which by the way, I will say though, because like
Gruesland.
Yes, Grisland.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't forget about the ending where he's like, yeah, nice going, y'all. With this adventure, we're gonna call it the Legend of Groose. That was just a little joke. I was cracking up when he fucking said that.
Chris is awesome.
Yeah, I will say though, and like, I will say like with characters like Link, you see like a lot of characters who in Skyward Sword who go through a lot of growth. Like honestly, since we brought him up, take Groose for example. Groose was just a regular bully who was just jealous of just Link and Zelda being together. Like you see him at the beginning, he's like, yeah, I bet you can't wait to spend time with her. He's like, oh, Groose, be nice to me. Maybe I want to win the ceremony. And then like the moment he starts following Link to the surface, because he gets very suspicious about it, like his mood immediately starts to change. Especially when the old lady's like, yeah, by the way, I need to tell you this, but you're gonna have a purpose later on in this adventure. And like literally at the end, like he helps Zelda, and like, come on, we also got to talk about his amazing weapon, the Gruesinator. We can't forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Personator was the best weapon in the series. You can't change my mind.
You're right. I think it's one of my favorite like tropes in storytelling and in like video game and anime storytelling, where they take the bully-esque character and like gracefully transition them in a way that like is eye-opening, where they get to see what exactly was they were doing wrong, and they turn into this fan favorites. Like you could look at like Riku Kingdom Hearts 1 or like Bakugo My Hero Academia. Like Groose fits into that like same archetype, and I just think they did them really well. So when you jump into something and you're disliking the character off the rip, and you're thinking to yourself like, I don't want to see this guy anymore, and then all of a sudden like 5 hours later into the game, it's like probably a little more than that, but whatever, all of a sudden he becomes a fan favorite. It's so well written.
He does. He like Groose literally does. And I'll take another character for example who also goes through growth. Best girl, best companion, Midna from Twilight Princess. At first, she starts being all sassy. She calls the hero Twilight stupid and just a complete jerk to him. But literally after the events of where he helps save her, like Zelda lends Midna her power. And she talks about, and she tells Link about like the story about her people and all this kind of stuff. She starts putting a lot of faith and trust in it. Now I don't know if you guys noticed, but like so in around the beginning of the game, like whenever she comes out of the shadows, she starts like the way how she talks, she sounds more sassy. But sometime after Midna's met, like when she comes out of the shadows and talks to you, she's more calm and she's more chill. That's growth right there. When you think about it, did y'all ever pick up on that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Easily picked up on that.
Yeah. You know, because I will say though, when it comes to Skyward Sword Link, we talked about the adventures of the different links for a little bit around the beginning of this episode. I mentioned the Hero of Time, what he did in Ocarina of Time, and then of course there was Majora's Mask and Link from Wind Waker, Link from Twilight Princess. But with this guy, this literally goes a lot back. Like literally, because with this guy, he was just an ordinary kid who was just attending school at a night academy. And yeah, we learned about him. He's always sleeping. He's a daydreamer. He has like the rarest Loftwing, being the Crimson Loftwing. But one thing I want to, bring up as well is like this whole journey of Link and Skyward Sword was just a purpose. He was chosen for this. Because think about all the times, or just at one time in the beginning, he has dreams about Fi. Like Fi is coming to him saying like, "Oh, the time has come," and in the dialogue, whenever she says Matas, which by the way, for those of you who don't know, Matas is actually short for master, which later on y'all know that is a name that Fi calls him, is master. So that's already is just the beginning. It's a beginning. And so, after this whole thing, the whole escapade happened, with Zelda getting captured by Girahim because of a black tornado, and, Link, Link winning the Wing Festival, earning, earning the green clothes because he's proven that he is a knight and he can definitely do this. And, being the chosen hero who wields the Goddess Sword, because think about what Fi said. Fi said that she was created by the goddess Hylia, to serve as a purpose of someone who was chosen to be the person in line to wield the legendary blade. The legendary blade of Evil's Bane, being the Goddess Sword, which later becomes the Master Sword. And obviously, they chose Link. This is why he's having these dreams about Fi, and then that's why he gets to see the imprisoned, even though he's never encountered this creature yet. But this dude just, goes through so much just to save his friend. Because all he cares about, I want to find Zelda. I want to find Zelda. That's literally, it's constantly on his mind. It's I want to find Zelda. I want to find Zelda. And then, if he wants to strike down Demise, and then just definitely help see him away, because even before the events of Skyward Sword, there was that big war that happened to where a piece of land got lifted up into the sky, which later on became Skyloft. And then later on, Demise gets sealed away, way before the events of Skyward Sword happened. But after going to different areas, across the surface, Link goes through many trials to earn the Sacred Flames. To restore power to the Goddess Sword. And not only does he get help from other creatures, but he gets help from 3 legendary dragons, being Farron, Eldon, Waneru. He has help from a sky god by the name of Levias. That's the giant whale in the Thunderhead cloud. And then being able to learn the song of the hero on the Goddess Heart, because that plays a key role, which belonged to Zelda at first. That played a key role in Link's adventure on what he needed to do. And by trials, let's also keep in mind, y'all, he also went through the Silent Realm trials, which, by the way, those are complete Nightrow feel, especially if you're dealing with those fucking Guardians. If y'all know, you know.
It's basically the Legend of Zelda Resident Evil style.
But, I will say, though, we talked about this earlier, but I do feel Link's pain, when Zelda had to be put asleep inside that crystallized amber, and the only reason why she had to be put asleep for thousands of years was because, it was to help seal Demise away into the future. And, and it's just really sad when you learn, the goddess Hylia was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sora, but I remember Zelda saying that the goddess Hylia was reincarnated, and her soul got put into a mortal, thus being Zelda herself.
Correct.
Yeah. And so, And so, but when it comes to Link and all this time that he's been spending with Fi, you know, the only reason why she chose to stuck around with him is because the thing is, the goddess Hylia knew that the Mize will make a return, and she needed a hero who would rise up to the challenge, you know, to come stop this evil deity. Because the thing is, you know, like, when you look at the three golden goddesses of the Triforce, Din, Nehru, and Furor, like, honestly, when it comes to everything on, like, choosing a hero, they're, like, literally playing chess here on who they pick, on who they want to deem worthy of being the legendary hero. And so it's like, and when it comes to Hylia, and with Link from Skyward Sword, it's like, you know what? We choose him. I want him. He's going to be the next hero. You know, he's not related to anybody by blood or by spirit. We chose him. And also, gentlemen, let's keep this in mind. This is the first Link to wield all three pieces of the Triforce. No other Link has done it except for him. He's the first one to do it.
Because what you're stepping in... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say what you're talking about right now is one of my favorite elements about Link, just through the franchise as a whole, because it's not so much about you know, a like quote Link like a single Link himself, in the sense that it's always like this perfect chosen hero, because it's not like we see that exemplified great in Wind Waker, where he's literally just a kid. It's just the idea that it can be like anyone can become Link, so long as they're, you know, like pure at heart and like reflecting the properties of the Triforce and like what it embodies, which was, you know, the whole point too here with Skyward Sword is they needed someone who would be able to wield that. They knew that Hylia couldn't do it herself, hence the plan to become mortal. But I'm getting off my point here. I think that's really, I don't know, it's just something about that just feels really cool. That makes you as the player, I think, be able to connect to it more too, when like Link in Skyward Sword, where he's like this, you know, like you were saying earlier, this like daydreaming, like lazy kind of, like he likes having fun. The idea that can be, you know, the message that a normal person can, you know, rise to a challenge like this and become a hero and like live to something great. It's like, I think that's a great message to send your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I feel like this also applies to like the different incarnations of the hero. You know, like whether they wield the Master Sword or not, because, you know, but let's keep this in mind. Not every Link wields the Master Sword. Like you have like Link from Minish Cap. You know, he wields the Kokiri blade. Same with Link from Four Swords. It's always, you know, the Four Sword. You know, yeah, and the thing is, you know, yeah, you know, and like Link from Spirit Tracks, he doesn't wield a Master Sword. He wields it kind of looks like it, but it's like a different color. So that's like the Locomo Sword. But my point across is like, you know, like whether a hero wields a Master Sword or not, it's always like, you know, there's always like the next one in line. It's like, okay, next one, okay, next hero, okay, check, I want him. Okay, so we're gonna move down the timeline. Next one, check. Okay, I want this guy. You know. But this Link in particular, he wields all three pieces of the Triforce, you know, compared to all the other Links. Because, you know, with Skykeep being that, like, that final trial, that final dungeon, you know, and, like, going through these trials and collecting all three pieces of the Triforce. Because one thing to keep in mind is what I remember what Zelda says is that you, like, with everything that he's done on his journey, like, he's earned both power, wisdom, and courage on being a legendary hero. And to top it off, you know, like when it comes to the Triforce, we all know the whole shtick, you know, like Ganondorf, you know, he's responsible for the Triforce of power. Triforce of wisdom goes to Princess Zelda, hands down. And then with Link, his is always courage. Like most incarnations of Link, they wield the Triforce of courage. But this guy, specifically, this Link has all three of them. He has access to all three. which definitely says a lot for him.
No.
What is y'all's take on that on this Link being able to obtain all 3 pieces?
I thought it was awesome that Skyward Sword Link was able to get all of them, but I I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I really hate Skykeep.
Nah, that's totally fair. I mean, it's a challenging dungeon. It's challenging, especially you had to like move all those pieces around on that tile thing or whatever to kind of like get yourself across and like how to get here, how to get to the Triforce. It's a lot, man.
But like, I have to say this as well: the HD version made me hate it more than I did in the Wii version, and I didn't think that was possible.
Nah, I don't blame you. Um,
Well, here's how.
yeah.
So, you know, whenever you have to shift the rooms around and everything, right?
Yes.
For whatever reason, in the HD version of the game, switching the rooms around kills the calibration of your controller. So I have to fight the freaking calibration with the motion controls while trying to switch the rooms around because it just dies and then the pointer starts to drift and I'm like, why is it that this breaks the calibration of all things?
Yeah,
Like
it's pretty annoying.
if you play with the button controls, you obviously don't have that problem. But if you're someone like me who prefers the motion controls, the freaking Skykeep dungeon will make you regret that decision. It is that obnoxious.
Yeah, Brandon, did you have issues with Skykeep?
This is news to me because I play with button controls. I'm not a fan of motion controls in general, like across the board in any video game.
Be glad. Just be glad. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I remember when I was streaming it, like literally from top to bottom, start to finish. I remember in chat, like everyone's like trying to push me to play with the motion controls, and I'm just like, I can't do this, guys. You don't understand. I cannot. I'm not built for this.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, Brandon, what is your take on this Link being able to be the first to have all 3 pieces? Even though majority of the games we always see the hero wielding the Triforce, known for wielding the Triforce of Courage, more.
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely cool that he's able to use the whole Triforce. You know, for me, I think it's less about. I think I gravitate less towards the fact that he was able to use all 3, and rather, I look at it more from like a storytelling perspective. I think that it makes a lot of sense that, again, top of the series, that this is the Link that should be able to do something with the first, chosen hero. That it has to be something grandiose like that to really set the tone for the rest of them. Like eventually, if any Link ever lives up to him, it's gonna be a tall, glass to fill. And then the other thing that comes to mind for this isn't so much about the full Triforce, but I liked a lot that there's a scene where Demise is acknowledging Link. The dialogue was something to the effect of him referring to humans of the past, like groveling and crying and scared and hiding, and he always like looked down at all humans. There was never like a single one that he like acknowledged or respected, but he acknowledges Link's courage specifically, which I think is a really cool moment that kind of like illustrates to us like this is why he's the Triforce of Courage, and like I think that plays a big part moving forward for the rest of all the Links.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how with this guy, with Link specifically being able to wield all the pieces of the Triforce and being that character who demonstrates power, wisdom, and courage. This was the guy that started that whole tradition for all the heroes, for all the incarnations of the hero, and to carry on that tradition of wielding the Triforce of Courage. So this guy kind of started that tradition first.
Yeah.
But now one thing I do want to talk about is we gotta talk about his little lady friend. We gotta talk about Zelda.
Ooh.
I will say though, even though, according to the timeline, we all know that she's not a princess. I mean, in our hearts, she is. She is a princess to us. But when you do think about it on the timeline, like at the very top, the first Princess Zelda goes to the one in Minish Cap. But that's a story for another day. But this Zelda, though, specifically, the way how and I love how much of a past she has with Link, being childhood friends and like you see at the beginning of the game where she's just, she's worried about him. She's like, like father, like what if he doesn't pass? What if he messes up or anything? And like even her own father is like, she's like, he's like, when you worry about him, you turn into a totally different person. It's because you're in love. That's what we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I just admire their chemistry. Like Link and Zelda's chemistry, it's so cute. It's so cute. Like the moment like you see Link, he's holding the statue that he won from the race, and then Zelda's like taking a dive and he catches her, and she's just all happy that he won. Like, and then later on, she legit asks him out on a date, saying like, oh, it's like so you want to go flying together? I'm like, ooh. But honestly,
and
go ahead.
That scene where they're flying together too, the I don't remember the titles exactly, but literally in game, like the title of the music that's playing in the background is it's something about love, and it's like
romance in the air.
There you go. Yeah, it's so coded already into the game, like the music is telling you.
It's just so coded, dude, and like they're honestly like their love for each other is just so strong. Like, and I love like how like in the staff credits are rolling, you get to see Zelda's point of view. Like the moment she arrives on the surface, she meets the old woman who turns out to be Impa, and like the time that she spends with Impa throughout the entire game, while Link's trying to find her. And like, and it's just sad, like at moments to where he couldn't even talk to her, because even she admitted like she had to be silent for a while. Now, did she want to do it? Absolutely not, but she had to.
Yeah.
And then she had to, and like, and you can feel like the pain in Link's heart, where like when you see like a future like a young Impa looking at Link, and she tells him, she's like, this girl could have been in danger. You came too late. Are you angry with me? And this like, and let's see, one of my favorite scenes with Link trying to protect her was in the Wanneru Desert, the Temple of Time. It's after the Wanneru mining facility where Girahim comes out. Impa has like this massive barrier. She's trying to protect Zelda. Girahim is able to break through it with his blade, and then here comes Link trying to like, jump in and save the day, and then Zelda and Impa are trying to make their escape through the Gate of Time, and like that's one of my favorite scenes. It just shows like how much he really cares about her. But honestly, their relationship is just so strong, especially at the end, like where you see like Girahim doing his little dancing. He's trying to do that that ceremony or whatever, and he. He's kind of worried, like he's like something bad's gonna happen to her, and then here comes Grooves being a badass, where he catches her body that's just being floated in the sky, and and that sigh of relief in his face, where Grooves is like, oh, it's okay, I got her,
Yeah.
I love the question that she asks Link at the end of the game, because at the end they decide to live on the surface. And she's like, so Link, what are you gonna do? And you see like Link just smiling, and that just shows how much they're just meant to be together, how much of a future they're going to have together. But honestly, their relationship is so strong and so cute. Sora, what is your thought on Link and Zelda's relationship?
They have the best relationship in the series, hands down.
Yeah. Do you have
the absolute best.
Do you have any favorite moments?
Probably my favorite moment with them in Skyward Sword is the moment where Zelda's about to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's a really touching moment. That's a good one.
It's not just the sad moment, you see the full extent in Link's face just how much he really loves her.
Yeah.
Because the pain in his eyes and on his face when she's about to go to sleep, he knows. He knows she's going to be asleep for God knows how long, and he's probably scared that she may not even wake up.
Yeah, that was a really sad scene, especially like the tears coming down his face. It's like I was saying earlier, like he's over here rubbing his eyes, and he's like just crying. I'm like, damn, dude, this is sad.
And it hits you even harder when Zelda literally says, "I've woken you up. Now it's your turn to wake me up. So, sleepyhead, will you come wake me?"
Yeah, and she says, just remember, I'll always be your Zelda.
I freaking teared up when she said that.
Yeah, that was sad. Brandon, what are your thoughts on Link and Zelda's relationship in Skyward Sword, and what are your favorite moments with those two being together?
They're a fantastic pair in Skyward Sword. I think I agree with Sora that they are the best. They're probably the best relationship in the series. Probably my second favorite personally, but I'll still acknowledge that from like a writing standpoint, they're definitely these two are meant to be together. They
are.
I think by the end of the game, we're left to decide as the player after Link gives that smile, but I think it's fair to assume that they do end up together. I love the two of them. And that's probably my favorite scene too at the end, like that conclusion, just the payoff of everything and this sensation that they got their happy ending. Although I will say to that scene with the Amber, that is, I think, is some of the best dialogue in probably in a lot of the franchise that Sora was talking about, where specifically the "it's your turn to wake me up," that was something I was going to bring up too. That it's just so masterfully done, like the how this game like is constantly coming full circle, like going back and like pulling from everything it's set up earlier on, because you don't see that in every Zelda game. I think you do mechanically from a gameplay standpoint, but not necessarily from the storytelling. They're so well told, the two of them.
They really are. Exactly.
Yeah. Also, just the design of Zelda in this one.
Oh, she looks fantastic, especially in her goddess outfit. She looks absolutely fantastic.
Gorgeous character.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I think it's really cool
character.
too. That I think a big part of the heartbreak is that she didn't know until meeting Impa and getting to the surface that she was Hylia. Like she lived her life as Zelda, and then all of a sudden, like this guy I'm in love with. What do you mean? I have to go to sleep. I can't be with him throughout the whole adventure. I can't make sure he's okay. And like, it's kind of tragic that she's forced into this position where she's just AFK for the most of the experience.
Yeah. Also, can I just bring up something to both y'all? Like before she gets trapped into Amber, like where she's literally talking, like there are moments where like you see Link's face with his eyes wide and he's like this. I don't know why, but that scene literally cries. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. I'm picturing it right now.
That scene is just priceless. Oh my god. I would say, I know we talked about companions, but and I feel like we haven't given this companion a chance, even though I did talk about her in one of my episodes. I did talk about her, but I will say though, like Fi as a companion, I think she's a really great companion for Link. Now I totally get it at first, not everybody was big on her in the Wii version because you're off doing your thing, and you hear like the sword glowing and just like, shut up, Fi, just be quiet. And then they fixed that in the HD version, which thank God they did. But I was
the original backseater.
Yeah, I was the original backseater. But but I will say though, in terms of like bonding, I really like how she was there for Link, like ever since like he pulled out the goddess sword from the pedestal, and like
Mhm.
they've literally like think about it, like if it wasn't for Fi, Link would have no idea what he was supposed to be doing. I mean, yeah, he's definitely had like dreams about her, you know, like what I
Mhm.
mentioned before, and he got to see her up close in person before they went inside the goddess of the statue, where the sword was being rested. But throughout the game, like she was the one who told him about the dragons. She was the one who told Link about like, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to go back to these places where you visited and go acquire the 3 sacred flames to restore power to the Master Sword. And then at the end of the game, where we finally have to say goodbye to her, which of course, there's 2 songs that play when they're both saying goodbye. It's called Fi's Farewell. No. Yeah, Fi's Farewell, and then when she's finally going to sleep, it's called Fi's Gratitude. But that song to where she's like, I'm feeling something that I can't comprehend. I think it's something that you people call happiness, and that just really hits a lot from Fi.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like there's a chance of, I mean, like at first we always thought like, like will she ever get to see this incarnation of Link again? But I stated in one of my episodes that was called She Was Always There. I mentioned in that episode for any chosen hero who wields the Master Sword, and we've seen it in games like in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where she makes like the glowing sound. Fi's never left. She's always been there, willing to aid like whoever is the next hero in line. Like in her perspective, like she'll look at the other incarnations. Like for example, the Hero of Time. She'll be like, yeah, you may look like my master, but you're not him. But I'm still willing to serve and protect you. But I still think that as a companion, like she really does stand out. And again, Link wouldn't know where to go or what he needed to do if it wasn't for her. I don't know. What is your take on that, Brandon? With Link spending time with Fi?
Oh, sorry. Which one were you asking?
No, I was asking you. I was like your thoughts on
Oh, sorry.
yeah, Link and
I,
Link and
I
Fi.
didn't hear you say it.
It's okay.
I think I agree. I think Fi is definitely the most significant companion in the franchise. I don't even think that that's a conversation. Just being the spirit of the Master Sword. I think that she's just inherently like going to be the most important throughout history, and then kind of piggybacking off what you said, like the fact that she's always there. I don't think I've ever looked at it from the perspective of her, like judging might be the wrong word, but like looking at these future versions of the hero and like feeling that this isn't my map, because that's totally the case. They're not the hero of the sky. Like that's goes back to the point I was making a little while ago. Like every version of Link, they're all like a Link, but at the end of the day, they're all like their own people and like their own personalities and such. So that's an interesting look at it. I really like that, to her acknowledging like this is someone new. I don't know you, but I'm still like let's do this. You're clearly the hero. You have the spirit of my master. Let's do this. I think it's really cool too with the first note that you made about her, where she's like experiencing happiness. um I think that's really neat to like the world building to Hyrule as a whole, because you have the concept of like constructs and like these for lack of better terms I'll say she's god made, but like for lack of better terms I'll say man made, like these things. Like she's a creation of Hylia, but like she's not human, but like still eventually capable of feeling something. I think that's really it's really interesting to the implications as a whole, to like all of like the what constitutes a race in the Legend of Zelda. You know what I mean? Like if
Right.
she can do that, like what else can? Like do the what do they call it? Like the constructs in the wild era? Is it possible that some of them the newest Warriors game? How much was that dude feeling? You know, like the version of the construct hero.
Yeah,
Like,
it was like a construct hero. Yeah, but
yeah,
it was
which
like
is also interesting because like Fi like you get the sound and the glow, like she's there.
yeah, because the Knight construct, you know, he had a like a shard
Piece of the
of
yep.
the Master Sword inside him.
Yeah. That it was so interesting. Like that's something I was thinking about the entire game. Like that was just so cool.
Yeah. And what about you, Sora? Your thoughts with about Lincoln Phi?
From a story perspective, I think Fi is one of the most important companions in the series, but from a gameplay perspective, the HD version really needed to tone her down.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
I'm sitting here like playing the Wii version, right? And I got so sick of that glow, and I would be like, "Fi, what do you want now?" And oh, Master, your Wii remote batteries are low. I know you told
I've
me
been
that 30
there.
seconds ago. I know my Wii remote batteries are dying. Let me live my life. I'll change them out when they are dead.
Oh my
But no, from a
god.
storytelling perspective, she is one of the best companions in the series. And going back to what you said earlier about the moment where she's about to say goodbye and she acknowledges that she feels happiness, that is the literal moment in the entire game where you notice up until then, she has never felt happiness one time.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
if you think about that, that is quite depressing.
It is very depressing, dude. It's very
The
sad.
one and only time she actually feels happiness in her life is the moment where she's about to be put to sleep for the rest of her existence.
Do you guys think that's the first emotion at all, like across the board, that she ever felt?
Yeah,
Could be.
I think
Yeah.
it's the only
It's
emotion
I
she's
agree.
ever
honest about
felt.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Because, like, she's never expressed that she felt any other emotion. She's never said or acknowledged that she's felt anger or sadness
No.
or
No.
anything else. She felt happiness in that one moment, and then that was it.
Oh, that this gets even more tragic the more you think about it, because it's like as soon as she was able to have her first, real emotion come out and it be happiness, she's immediately like, "Well, I guess I live with the sword now. See ya." Like that's I guess it depends on perspective. That's either beautiful or tragic. It's like you're not going to do you not get to experience anything else, or because you're in the spirit of the sword through all of time, like are you still experiencing that just from the sword? We don't get to see it as the player, but like as she's
Right.
traveling with the other links. That's
I
interesting.
see. I see it as beautifully tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know what? She does have a number one fan. No, she has one number one fan.
Bruce, no kidding.
I was talking about Scrapper, but we don't talk about him either.
I want to scrap that little menace.
I mean, the fact that like it's like he calls her like it's like, oh, Mistress Five, and I was like oh yeah, and then like that robot is just such a jerk to Link. He's like, I was like, oh yeah, you're just Master Short Pants. I'm like, I don't like you, but I like Fi.
I will do anything for Mistress Fi.
And then
You can go screw yourself.
and the thing is, she doesn't like him back. That's so funny. Now, speaking of characters who don't like Link, you know, before we end this, I think we need to talk about these two at the end, saving them for the best of last. But Girahim and Demise.
Ooh,
These
there we go.
these two are something else throughout this journey, and like the fact that like Link had to go through so much hell to like just deal with Girahim. Like the moment they had their first confrontation in the Skyview Temple, where you have Girahim having his speech, saying like he's like, oh yeah, I finally saw the little goddess until Impa took her away from me. It makes me mad, and like you see like a villain who literally gets behind Link and he's just toying with him. And he's saying stuff like, oh, I'm gonna make sure that your eyes are closed when I try to kill you softly. And I'm like, oh my god, this villain is so frightening. But
Freaking tongue of his.
oh yeah. But honestly, like the
And what that
fact
sound
that
do?
and like the fact their battles that they had is just so epic. It's a really epic battle because they've had 3 fights. They had one in the Skyview Temple when they first met each other, one in the Fire Sanctuary. Of course, they've had several in confrontations where, you know, he gains power to like Scaldera in the Earth Temple, Coactos in the Ancient Cistern, and so forth. And then you have the final battle, like the final battle at the Sealed Temple in the past, to where he's performing the ceremony, he's trying to revive his master, and like again, like we talked about this, but the whole time, like Link deals with nothing but from frustration when it comes to Girahim. Well, okay, I'm sorry, I need to be more respectful. Demon Lord Girahim. Yeah, I have to be respectful. But
Of course.
it literally blew my mind when I found out that he was just like a dark version of the Master Sword. Like, I was like, oh shit, that's something though. And then when it comes to his master, the imprisoned, or should I say the Demon King, demise, like the battle to like protect and save the world, like protect the surface, was honestly one of the most memorable fights in the entire series. And I don't know about you guys, and I'm gonna definitely bring this up, but like the setting for like Link against Demise, it's kind of giving me Kingdom Hearts 3 Final World vibes. You know, blue sky, water on the ground. I'm like, this is almost
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's kind of giving me Kingdom Hearts Final World vibes. But
I was gonna compare the aesthetic to like a Final Fantasy final fight, but the vibes, you're on the money, yeah.
Yeah. But I will say though, the fight at the end of the fight, it's a really memorable one because we got to keep this in mind. This villain, started a tradition of like Ganons and Ganondorfs spreading across the timeline, because he was the one who says like, you know, oh yeah, this isn't the end, you know, and remember this, he starts placing a curse on both Link and Zelda, and then he says like an incarnation who follows the blood and spirit of the hero and the goddess Hylia are bound to haunt you for the rest of your life because of this curse. And you see him like he's laughing, and he vanishes, and he gets sealed away into the Master Sword, where Fi says at the end like, oh, he's been eradicated. But Demise definitely is like the guy, you know, who started everything with the whole incarnation thing. Like the first incarnation throughout the timeline was Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time. But with the fact that Link had to fight not just one, but 2 powerful villains in one game really says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sora, what is your take on your thoughts on the battles that Link has had with Girahim and Demise?
These fights were insanely serious. Like, I would have to say the ones with Girahim are more serious because Link encounters Girahim a lot more and has given him the most trouble. But like, each of the fights felt unique, but the final fight specifically, you felt the level of stakes that was on Link's shoulders, especially not during like the final fight specifically, but during the fight where you're having to fight through a bunch of hordes just to even get to him while he's trying to perform the ceremony. That was one of the most epic moments in the game. But while Link's charging through, just trying to like kill a mass horde of like moblins or whatever goes his way.
Goblins, yeah.
Yeah, you feel the level of pressure that is on. Because, like, not only is the Demon King about to be revived, but Zelda's about to lose her soul. And Girahim's about to be, like, all-powerful. Like, all at the same time. And so Link is literally pressed for time, trying to fight all these guys, just trying to get to him. And then when he finally does get to him, Ghirahim basically goes Super Saiyan on him, and he's like, "I mean business now."
Yeah. And then he also completes the ceremony during their final fight. Like, the ceremony is complete.
Oh my lord! So yeah, that just added to the stakes, reviving Demise, and so now Link has even more pressure because he has to go through the portal to face Demise, and if Link fails, the entire world is basically screwed over. So no pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Brand? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say, I will say, I was slightly disappointed in the final boss because it was stupidly easy.
Yeah, I can definitely say
that. The fight with Demise itself was stupidly easy.
It really was, but it's still a really good and memorable fight.
Oh, it's a really good and memorable fight, especially with the way you end it. Like, when you knock him down and then Link does a finisher and the lightning strikes his sword right before you pierce him. That was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. What about you, Brandon? What was your thoughts on all the confrontations with Link had with Ghirahim and Demise at the very end?
Before I even get into my thoughts, I want to double down on something Sora just said with Ghirahim's fights being, tougher for Link. I think there's a huge distinction between how Demise, he was just continuing to do. For him, it's just what he does. Like, there's not really an emotional attachment. I'm Demise, and I'm just time to crush this world. My time to shine. Whereas Ghirahim is more. There's like a bloodlust, there. He enjoys what he's doing, and like he is like, we see like the fury that he gets, and like he actively like wants to like hurt others and like relishes in that. And there's something to be said there with his fights with Link. It's a lot more dangerous because there's a lot more passion behind it. Whereas Demise, he's just doing it because that's what he does. And then I think that kind of doubles down into why, but like his fight was easy, for sure. I agree with you with the Demise, and the like after he does the he raises his sword skyward for the second time after the first lightning bolt, and the second one doesn't come down. I interpret that as Ghirahim, recognizing that, oh, you can't actually beat the hero. Why should I bother supporting you? I should have just done this myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate, but that's how I like to see it. So to that end, I have more to say about Ghirahim than Demise. The Demise is cool. The curse is really well done. I think that they set up the rest of the franchise beautifully. I'm way more interested in Ghirahim. His personality is great. His dialogue is magnificent.
Yes.
I really, really adore the fact that he's one of I think two villains in the franchise who like really successfully pull their plan off. Because like at the end of the day, his goal was to resurrect Demise, and he succeeded. Like 100%, he achieved his plan. Not many villains in the Legend of Zelda series can actually say, I did what I set out for. He did. I think that's really impressive. I think the only other one that comes to mind would be like Calamity Ganon, like having plunged the Hyrule into like 1,000 years.
And like
all that. But
yeah, exactly. And there's been villains throughout the series who have achieved their goals. Like for example, like in Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf was able to not only enter the Sacred Realm, but he earned the Triforce of Power himself, and he destroyed Hyrule Market, and he even built his own castle. And
what about
go ahead.
I'd argue. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, what about Akahim from A Link to the Past?
Yes,
he succeeded in his goal.
He did. He did.
That's the thing. A lot of these other villains like achieve their goals temporarily, but like Ganon and Ocarina of Time, for example, because that's just the one I happen to know a little bit better. At the end of the day, with all the time travel shenanigans, it basically amounts to nothing. by the end of the games. Like a lot of these villains like will temporarily get their success, but unlike Girahim, where he like there's no undoing. He got Demise back. He achieved what he set out for, and honestly, without Girahim, like there would be no like curse or reincarnation cycle. If Demise had never come back, that would have never happened. Without Girahim, you don't have the franchise we know, and you don't have all these other villains going up against all these other heroes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair point.
And they
Fair
are
point.
they are definitely are really great villains though. But yeah, as like we were saying, like all the other villains do stand out in their goals. Like, you know, I'll definitely will bring up one more. You know, like the fact of like you know like Zant, you know, being an usurper. You know, he literally dethroned.
Oh sure.
Yeah, he dethroned Midna from the throne in the Twilight Realm. But not to mention, this was like a shared power that he had with Ganondorf as well. But now the way how his fate ended, it was something else.
Pathetic, dude. Poor Zan.
I was just about to say, Zant succeeded in his goal in dethroning Midna, only for Midna to just come back and basically pop him like a zit later.
Exactly. Right?
Yes.
I don't think anyone lives up to the legacy of Girahim.
Yeah.
Besides maybe Calamity Ganon, but
Oh, absolutely. And so so we are gonna definitely end things off with one more final question. And I'm gonna let Brandon go first, and this is his first time on the on the podcast. So Brandon, out of all the incarnations of Link, how does this one stand out compared to the others, like in terms of story and everything?
Okay. In terms of story, yeah, honestly, across the board, this version of Link has a lot more, I think, to offer than a lot of the other Links, and I think that goes back to our original conversation at the very beginning of the episode with how expressive he is. We really get to see and feel everything he's going through, which is not something we get from most of the Links in almost any other game. I can't think of, maybe Wild's era, but like I can't think of a single other game that I would put on the same level of this one.
Yeah.
Because of that, we just get to like feel his journey so much more. Like this is something I brought up earlier too. Like I love like the notion that Link is, you know, the link between us and the game, that he's the stand-in for us, and that essentially when a new game comes out, right, and a chosen hero has to rise up again, that's us. The game comes out, we're the hero, we have to step in, and I think this is the game that best illustrates that because of how we're able to feel everything through Link. Man, then just like you guys said earlier, everything he has to go through, like there's a lot more trials and tribulations in this one than a lot of the other games. He's put through a lot, and we get to see all of it firsthand in a larger way than most others allow us.
I like that. That's a really amazing response.
Thank you.
What about you, Sora?
As story goes, Skyward Sword Link stands out as the literal perfect start to the timeline.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like, and it's for a few reasons. Not only is this like the first instance where a chosen hero actually, you know, comes out in the timeline, but out of all of the other Links, this one definitely feels the most personal.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I don't need to rehash everything. We've already like gone over why it's so personal.
Yeah.
But when you take it into account, it really sets up the timeline beautifully.
You know, yeah, and you know, and with me, you know, I honestly agree with what both of y'all said. But this dude, again, like we basically pretty much covered his entire legacy throughout Skyward Sword. But again, this guy really does stand out. He's very expressive, very emotional. You know, he definitely set the firm foundation on what it means to truly be a hero. You know, like honestly, this guy does his work perfectly. But
oh yeah, He does.
Yeah.
He really does. But anyway, that is going to be all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you all for 30 episodes. We have come such a long way. Oh my god.
30 episodes.
30 episodes.
Congrats, dude.
Thank
That's
you
huge.
so much. Thank you. And also, by the way, I'm going to talk about the topic that's going to be taking place for next time for September 3rd. Which, by the way, this was voted on by some friends of mine in my Discord server, and I'm going to announce the winner on what the topic is. So, based on the votes from people in my Discord server, let's meet back here on September 3rd, as my next topic is going to be about who or what is the Skull Kid throughout the Zelda series. Yep.
You mean we're not talking about Zelda CDI?
Not today. But
Not yet.
I do need to play those games and try them.
As long as you have enough rubies.
As long as you have enough rubies. But yes, next time we are going to be talking about who or what is the Skull Kid. And let me tell y'all, we have a lot to say about this creature. We have a lot to talk about him. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, please don't forget to define by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good jazz. Definitely do yourselves a favor. Go follow Brandonglovich on YouTube and Twitch under the same name, Brandonglovich. He definitely has his own schedule, but definitely be sure to give him a follow and go check out his stuff.
Thank you.
Yes.
And until next time, this has been your boy Kokiri, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye!